Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to Ink and Insights, your weekly comic book highlight review show. I'm joined, as always, with Dr. Doom's fan club here, Stu. How's today treating you, man?
It's been good, man. Good day. Always happy to be here with you. I think we got some really strong books. I feel like I say that every week, but like I was just reviewing them, going back through them before we hopped on, man. I think all of these are strong in their own unique way. A lot of indie bangers too. So yeah,
It-
doing
I
well,
think
dude.
unique is the word to
Yeah,
describe some of the books that came out last week, man. We had some
absolutely.
wild books that came out, man. But I totally agree with you, man. It's been a strong start to the year. Like there's been some duds beyond, of course, there always are, but like the strong ones are really standing out for me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
How you been?
Dude, today was wild, man. Like I generally speaking, I'm kind of like I work remote a little bit and a little bit in the office. I'm about half and half. And working from home when you have that opportunity is fantastic. Except for when
Yeah.
things go sideways, man. And things went sideways today, man. My laptop was out of commission all day. I had a dentist appointment that I had to get to. Then I had to navigate to work when I wasn't anticipating it. My IT team had that sucker all freaking day. So my productivity, like, just nosedive into the ground, basically. Like, it implanted itself into the ground. I got nothing done today. And then on top of that, I was rushing home to make sure that I got back here for the show. So I'm catching my breath.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate you making the effort, man. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did the tech team get things back up and running? You good to go for tomorrow?
we're gonna find out. It ain't tomorrow yet, so I don't know.
Fair
Yeah.
enough, bro. Yeah, that sounds like a fun. Nothing like getting your teeth yanked on and then having to drive into work unexpectedly.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, but I'm not all doom and gloom though. Like, there's definitely some bright spots, and like I gotta say, I've been kind of holding the cards close to my vest here. I didn't tell you right away, but after our absolutely fantastic last show, dude, we got our first sponsor.
A word?
Yeah, we got our first sponsorship, man.
Pray
Dog and
tell.
Suds root beer. Dog and Suds. We're real famous from coast to coast. Use hashtag Bowstaffs are better to get 10% off your order here and let them know that Ink and Insights sent you.
Wow,
Dog
I
and Suds
walked right
root
into
beer.
that one. I
We're
walked right
absolutely
into
real.
that one. Well played, sir. Well played. Both staffs are so whack, bro. It's just like you're
Whoa,
out.
whoa,
It's a
whoa. You trying
stick.
to lose our sponsor
It's a
already? We've
stick.
had it
I'm
for 30
sorry, dog.
seconds.
Thank you for. I appreciate. You're right. Apologies. Thank you, dog and suds, everybody,
Dog and Suds.
for your
Drink
root
it up.
beer. Next time you want a great root beer. Well played. Well played.
I know. I try. I try. But without further ado here, we got a couple people rolling in the chat here with us. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs here, starting with Road Collecting, man.
Bro,
Great to
what up,
see you.
brother?
We also got Simpleton. We know you read comics. Well, okay, maybe take that back. You read hardcovers. Maybe. All right. So without further ado here, let's go ahead and jump into our first set of books of the week here. Starting with The Ultimates number
Hell yeah.
10 by Dennis Camp with artwork by Juan Frigeri. Man, like this series just continues to blow me away, man. Like I'm so stoked every single issue that I get to read of this one.
Yeah.
No different here, man. And what a way to open up the freaking issue, other than finding out, to see the effects of what happened in World War II, of the true death of Adolf Hitler, and to have it be by the hands of Jim Hammond, the freaking Human Torch, one of the original members of the Invaders, man. Killer opening, man.
Unbelievable way to open the book, man. And it was like it you know, not to put a too fine a point on it, but it definitely put a smile on my face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like hearing him describe when he was talking about that memory and how it made him feel warm.
Oh my
Because
God.
he had to delete so many
Decades.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Decades
decades.
worth of memories.
Oh my god, that moment was pure poetry. The way Camp writes these characters, it was incredible. I was just so happy to see. He's a favorite of mine ever since I saw him in Marvels with that. Alex Ross used him to great effect. I think that was like really the base, the foundation of that story. I think he had that opening before he had anything else for years. But yeah, so I've always just loved that character, and like just the way he was using. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but the way he kind of ends the climactic encounter in this issue was hilarious. And I
Dude,
also love the
save
way
that
he
magic. Yeah.
smokes. I will, but I
Yeah.
also love the way he smokes in this. You know what I mean? Like
Dude, it's using
I
that power
loved
set
all
in
the
a way that, yeah, we don't get to
yeah,
see that with like Human Torch, or I'm trying to think of the
absolutely.
like Sunfire, things like that. Like to have the smoke billowing off of you and use it as like a cover for yourself, dude. That's awesome. That's strategic.
Yeah, it was incredible. And like just the way Camp wrote the battle, the way he wrote the action, talking about um Hank versus Janet, and how one was cool and confident and the other second guessed himself. It was just I every issue of this is just such a joy to read. It's so well written, and it's such a beautiful new thing, but also gives nods to Marvel's history in all sorts of um
Yes.
profound and unexpected ways, and so many of my favorite corners of the Marvel universe as well. So I don't know, man. This book is like my favorite thing coming out of Marvel these days. I think it's like, kind of like not a spiritual successor in any such like, in any subject matter or the book type of sense, but like it's nice to have this follow up like a book like Avengers Twilight. You know what I mean? It's like
Big time.
a great team book that's new and really understands the assignment. And this book just continues to impress. But yeah,
dude.
sorry for
Yeah.
ranting. I'll let you take it away.
Nah, there's no such thing as ranting around here, man. You're preaching the gospel of comic books. We got Simpleton saying that he's hoping to meet Dennis in a few weeks. Don't want to jinx it, dude. No jinxes around here, man. If you do get to see him, just let him know that the Ink and Insights crew really appreciate the work that he's doing, man. Because top tier.
Yeah. He's like, he reads all the cool stuff. Like you know what I mean? He homages all the like Fraction and Morrison, and having like Midas as president. You know what I mean? In this is like, I just love all his influences, and like he loves the stuff that I feel like we love, and so it's cool to see a new voice like that in comics that really gets it. So
yeah, it's like he's playing with those influential hallmarks, but he's also not beholden to them. Like he's not singing the same song. He's not a cover band. He's doing his own unique things with those same things, though. So he's like, it's like that next progression, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good call, man. So we get to see basically what's happening is Jim Hammond is recollecting about all of these things here, as the team is now on arguably like one of their first missions, sans the Iron Lad, who was kind of their de facto leader at the time. They're looking to take out this, call it what it is. It's a white nationalist group, right? It's a hate group. It's a terrorist organization here, the Red Skulls. And Tony is finally out of his iron lung, his chamber, where we knew he was healing. He wasn't necessarily dead, but we had no idea how long it was going to take for him to get out. Dude's getting back surgery and kind of trying to give them information. He's kind of being like the guy in the chair for this team as they go on their mission. It's kind of cool to see the difference, right? The handoff from Tony Stark over to Steve Rogers, because Steve Rogers is now like, and in fact, he says something in the book here, kind of saying to the fact, like, I'm the leader now, like I'm on the floor, I'm taking command here. You need to take a back seat. Like, and he wasn't saying it in like in any bravado whatsoever. He was truly like, dude, you got to focus on healing. We got this. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I love Jim observing Cap, and like the way he weaves in and out of the conversation, and so I felt so true to the character. It was just really cool when he was narrating, and like his little, just the way his the little bits of text and numbers and robotic android type of language, and then I just love that. I love like the data sheets and the logs and emotional logbook or whatever it was we got. Like that stuff really, like when they introduce every time they've introduced or he's introduced a new character in this book, it's been fantastic, really thorough, and really let you know the essence of who you're dealing with. So this was like another case of that. I thought it was really well done. Really another great rollout.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's the same thing. We talk about those hallmarks, man. Jonathan Hickman, we always like, oh, data pages and charts and everything. But again, this is another writer taking that thing and making it actually work. He's not doing it for just the sake of doing it. Like it had real meaning in this and understanding the character of Jim Hammond and the Human Torch. It was like, yeah, again, he's taking it and progressing these ideas. And man, and I just freaking love it.
It is.
And I love the decryption that you were talking about here, the kind of like the things that he was speaking with the binary code and whatnot. It was trying to decrypt who the Red Skull was, right? Because it's not just an individual. Johann Schmidt, he done. Like he got taken out by Cap a while back at this point in this universe. But now it's like a mantle that's handed down from person to person, and they can't figure out who this next version is. They can't decrypt the voice. He's wearing a mask so they can never see him. And that's the catalyst for all this recollection of the World War II era. That's why Jim Hammond is thinking of the Nazis, and Hitler that he's killing, the invaders as they're taking on the Nazis during World War II. We kind of move forward and they get into the Red Skull's territory, right? And it's kind of cool. It's like this mashup of the idea of the Punisher, but also twisted with the Red Skull itself. I kind of like the way that they're playing.
Yeah, it's very well done. Yeah, absolutely.
It was really perfect. So they get in there. Clearly, it was a little bit of an ambush here, but man, the biggest like jaw drop moment for me in this one was seeing Namor on display, taken out, one of their dudes, like one of their, their companions in the Invaders on display, like sickeningly on display as they get all the guns turned on them. And they get John Walker, a freaking dude with the super soldier serum, ready to take them out. Like, as you saw the events unfolding here, not getting to what happens to him, what were your thoughts about like what they had just walked into?
I loved it. Again, we're talking about like, getting these characters. I love this voice that he had for Red Skull. Really, really, you felt like the guy was really smart and insidious, and even though the team was there and had kind of easily made their way in, you still felt like he had some type of upper hand until, we'll get there. But
yeah,
but yeah, I loved him talking about Namor, like, funny down below, he's a god or whatever. He's worshipped, and, up here, he's nothing. And what did he say, that the fish don't rot or something like that? Because he's like he hasn't been decomposing, and yeah, man, it was crazy. And I just love how they constantly go, the panels constantly go back to Cap's face and how indignant he looks seeing him up there. And that's one of the first things he says after they engage him, is like, get him down from there. I thought that was so fantastic. Like, just and it was crazy, like you said, seeing their old teammate and what's happened to him is awful. So yeah, heavy moment. And part of me, like, they defeat these guys and push him back into the sea. Part of me was hoping he was going to come back to life some kind of way. I didn't think his story was over right then and there. I was kind of, I had my fingers crossed, but I don't know. Maybe it's not over. Who knows?
I don't know.
Like, he's not decomposing, and he's back in the ocean. You know what I mean? Anything's possible, I feel like.
Yeah, but dude was dead in the ocean too. Like, he
was dead as shit.
Yeah, like, I think it's better to keep him this way, only because it really sets the stakes for this universe. You don't know what's going to happen. Everything,
very true.
Exactly. Like, I would rather have it to where we're actually worried about characters living or dying, because we know we don't get that in the other universe. So, like, why not have that here? That's what makes these stories exciting. Speaking of possibly dying here, I'm giddy to talk about it, man. What did you think about the end result of that fight and how quick that sucker was done?
It was great. It was a great bit of like build up, So, he's talking about when John Walker came to me with the super serum, vial of super serum, and like, the little orb or whatever, asking what he should do. What do you think I told him? And then you think it's going to be this big brawl, and he comes out and Jim Hammond just fries his freaking his whole face off.
Dude lights him up like a Roman candle.
Right,
Yeah.
that's that. And I love Cap after it, like, dude hits the ground. Cap's like, Jesus, Jim.
Yeah.
Cap's like taking it back. It was such a killer moment, and yeah. But our should we get to our big reveal though at the end? What did you think about the
Dude,
Jim Hammond finally being able to voice match who this Red Skull character is in that reveal?
it was pretty crazy, man. So they go through their battle, right? And there's a crack, a little, something ricochets off and it takes out the helmet just enough for something to squeak by to be let out that Jim Hammond can decipher. And Jim knows exactly who it is. Steve didn't even need to know, right? He didn't need that, confirmation. He also knew the Red Skull, as of right here and right now, this incarnation is Bucky freaking Barnes, man. And that blew my mind. It was wild, man. Like, we know
Yeah,
the Winter
so good.
Soldier is Logan in this universe for all intents and purposes, right? It's not like totally the same, but it kind of is. That it's got that feel, just modern day as opposed to being all the way back from World War II. This is nuts, man, because that opens up the door for so many new stories to be told. How does he still have this mantle? How is it? Granted, maybe he's an old man under that mask. We don't know, but like, how are you going to be rolling out there if you were like in World War II? How are you going to be doing the things that you're supposed to be doing out there? Like, there's so many like caveats to this story that like I can't wait to see where they're going to take this.
Yeah, absolutely. Just another great reveal. And yeah, like Cap's face when when they replayed that moment there, and the voice ID it was so perfect. Like, you knew, part of you kind of knew in some type of way when they kept showing Bucky in those old Defenders photos, but man, it was fantastic. And I also like Steve's kind of like, the some of the narrate, like when they're talking about, here we are again fighting Nazis with lasers, and Steve's kind of like bullheadedness running in here, when Tony's like,
Mhm.
or Iron Lad, is it Tony? That
Yeah, it's
is
still
that
Tony. Yeah.
okay? Yeah. um it's like, we already deemed them, not big enough of a threat for us to need to bother with. But it's, I just like the fighting Nazis theme from the get-go, with the Hitler murder at the beginning, and just kind of like the climax here was so incredible. Such a great
Yeah.
fight, and the reveal with Bucky was just another great layer to this story. And I just love this. I love this Ultimate Universe that they created. I really do. And especially the bad guys that populate it.
Yeah.
I think they've done an incredible job, man. But this to me is my favorite Marvel book on stands, and I continue, like, every time I see it coming out, I get super hyped. So shout out to all
Yeah.
involved, and Juan for Gary doing some great work as well on the artwork.
Oh, dude, I feel like every issue he's leveled up more and more and more. At first, I was
Absolutely.
kind of, yeah, I wasn't on board for it. I'm definitely on board at this point, man. And I think you said it, you said it great. Like, for myself, though, I'm always going to be a fan of a book that involves punching Nazis, but especially right here, right now, at this time, I loved this freaking issue,
Yeah,
man, and it hit so
right.
much harder. Yeah, so
Absolutely, brother.
yeah, great timing on this one. We had a whole heck of a lot more people hop in here, so let's show
Yeah,
some
man.
love here. First, starting off with DC Patrolman. DC, I saw your haul, both on your
What up,
Cobra
brother?
trade paperbacks and your new books that you picked up, man. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on those. That's going to be
Hell yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, we got Omega hanging with us here. Happy Wednesday
Omega,
to
what
you as
up?
well.
Good to see you, bro.
We got Mike's Total Dragon channel here.
Mike, what up?
Dude, you already know we agree with you, man. It
Hell
was. It
yeah.
was totally badass.
So
Yeah.
good.
And let's see who else. I saw a couple other people.
Got Dr.
Where'd you go
Plagas.
to? That wasn't it. Here
Oh,
we are. We're doing
oh,
that double click thing.
yeah,
Here we
yeah,
are.
my bad.
We got the good doctor hanging with us, man. Nice seeing you. Great show on Tuesday, by the way.
Yeah, great show, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry I missed you
We
on Blame Fable the other night.
sorry, we were holding it down for you, man.
Yes.
We got the neighborhood Merc. Nice seeing
Mark,
you,
what up,
bud.
bro?
All
Thanks for coming
right.
through.
With that
Yeah,
being said,
y'all let us know what your favorite book was this past week and what you're looking forward to this week.
yeah, absolutely. A lot of bangers out there. In regard to Marvel, that's all we got for you right now here, but we're gonna pivot right on over to DC as we jump onto Poison Ivy number 31, written by G. Willow Wilson with art by Brian Lovell. Correct me if I'm wrong here, man. You've been on this series way longer than I have. And you're the one that turned me on to this series. This is a fill-in artist. Am I wrong?
Correct. No, you're correct.
Dude, I was pleasantly surprised. I feel like
Absolutely, right?
it fit.
Absolutely.
Like I was
Yes.
like kind of questioning myself. I'm like, wait a minute, like that's not the name I recognize. That's not the same dude.
There were moments where it was a little bit more noticeable than others, but there were moments
Mhm.
where it felt like it was seamless with the theme, the aesthetic and the theme that the book has had thus far. You know what I mean? It felt like
Yeah, definitely.
and I feel horrible for getting the regular series artist name. But yeah,
Marcio Takara.
I think you're dead on.
It's
Thank
like
you.
maybe I'm a little bit off. I think that's it though.
I
And if
think it
I'm
is
right,
Takara
then
though.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll take all the credit in the world.
this was incredible job by Level or Lovell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we kick off here with Pam is trying to get back to normalcy, right? And I feel like that's the same for all of these issues. Like she just wants to get back to a chill place, and not like the world will not let her get back there. She's just laying in bed trying to dream, and like the influence of the green, or in this case the gray, it just like keeps yanking her back into these like different things, man. She's seeing these visions, all of these things are happening, and all the while Janet from HR has basically made this pact with them as well, that if conversations are going to be happening, and if you hear anything, if maybe let us in on all your little secrets, like you bring us in on these things so we can kind of keep an eye on Pam and make sure that everything's just a-okay.
I
Now,
mean,
like I
and
said,
that feels like a ticking time bomb, because if they can
yes.
do this, they can do this in the middle of her trying to sleep, then what do they need a little magical acorn to spy on her with? You know what I mean? Like it's but yeah, dude, this, and I love the lettering here when this being
Mhm.
speaks. Like it's a fantastic moment. And this is like right off the bat. That's what that's what we're speaking to. The art did not feel fill in the
No,
slightest.
not at all. But like, dude, you've been reading this since issue number 1. So you have a better understanding of the characters than I do at this point. I love Janet from HR. I don't get why she would make this agreement though. Like, why would she just so easily, I don't know, like
I don't
in,
really
in
have a
some kind of
great
way.
answer. I don't really have a great answer for you. I think she's just kind of aloof and makes, impulsive decisions.
Okay.
You know, she's I think a character who, we love because she kind of, leads with her heart and her feelings, and has it's been a kind of a process of her finding her voice, but I feel like
Hmm.
there's part of her that doesn't trust all this, and we see a bit of why here at the end of the issue, I think, but at the same time, um, yeah, man, I don't know. I think she's gonna be, you know, just the fact that she's kind of like double time and working as a subversive agent, we'll say. I
Hmm.
think that's gonna open her up to being susceptible to evil influences, or other beings trying to get at Ivy through her. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's been she's been it's been an incredible character arc for her. I think a lot of people kind of laughed her off or were hating on her at first, but she's proved to be really durable, and the I'm not going to say the heart or the soul of the series, that because she's not at all, but I feel like in a secondary kind of way, she definitely is. She's I love her and Croc's relationship, and just the way she's come along throughout the second half of this run has been pretty spectacular. So
Yeah.
a character I'm sure a lot of people weren't checking for, but I think has been definitely a surprise hit. And I think G. Willow Wilson has really found a good rhythm now at being able to pace out these issues. I know you got
Yeah.
on. We had a couple where Ivy was just walking around. the
It got a
entire
little Lord of the Rings, in there a bit. Yeah.
So, but props to you for sticking with it. Yeah, you knew there was something here, and there definitely is. But I think when because this book's future was uncertain at one point. So, but now that she's got that security and she can kind of see the horizon or the finish line, so to speak, I think it's enabled her to write have a steadier hand, we'll say.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, I totally agree with you, Jen. It's definitely not the heart of the story here, but she is like kind of like the charm of the book, right? She
Absolutely,
brings
that's a better way
that
to put it.
levity that you need.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes, completely agree.
So we got Janet working with the Gray, kind of eavesdropping on Pamela. Pamela, again, just wanting to get away from all of this, but she keeps getting drug into it. And part of getting drug into this is understanding the town in which they are residing and kind of like the ultimate fate that it undertook and why all of these things happen. And to do so, she has to team up with the Floronic Man, as they have a similar power set, but it's more so like he's acting as a conduit, whereas like Pam understands and can manipulate the plant's life, but she doesn't. It's almost like she can't speak to it. I don't know, but I'm probably not explaining that correctly. It's basically like he's pulling historical data almost. Like he's like pulling information from the hard drive of the plant life to feed to her to allow her to see what's happened in the past and how things have changed and evolved in this town. Is that
Yeah,
is
I
that
think
explaining it correctly?
yeah, he's got like a unique ability to I think like what was it, where like man and nature meet to kind of be more intuitive and aware of like things like concrete and things where nature and man are kind of like melding together.
Yeah.
So like all the things that you would see in the construction of a town, and the secrets buried there within, obviously with this giant subterranean sewage system they had going on, trying to keep the water out of these marshlands. The water's always coming back on them. The swamp is just spitting back at the townspeople every time they try to establish a foothold there. And I thought that was kind of dope to see. I wasn't really, I consider myself half educated on Swamp Thing lore, not definitely not a full blown fanatic by any sense of the word. But at the same time, like I wasn't hip to this character before, but I love his look, dude. And
Yeah,
just
for
with
sure.
the suit and the tie, and yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, she's going to use him as a detective to kind of root out um, the secrets that this town buried, I guess, more or less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and good call out for the Swamp Thing part as well, because you had recommended, and we're going to be talking about the saga of Swamp Thing, the Alan Moore's portion of writing that series here, coming down the pipeline in the near future. So I'm in the process of reading that, and in reading that, when I saw this character pop up, I'm like, oh my god, is that like Jason Woodrow? Is there connections that
Right.
I'm not picking up on? I didn't know that kind of stuff. So it's nice to know that there's separate characters first and foremost, but that there is a little bit of question about that character, right? We're all a little bit in the dark on it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love the way, that said, I still love the way that, Wilson is leaning on the lore of the green and the gray. And, it's been so dope in that way.
Well, and not to talk about another book too, but it's kind of great that they're playing. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of cohesion between the DC books, because like we have Swamp Thing, and he's been kind of a spotlight was shown on him in Justice League Unlimited recently. We've had all of this mythology going on within Poison Ivy, but now we also have Aquaman talking about the blue, and we're getting the connections between the blue, the green, the gray. Like it's kind of cool that they're playing with all those different things. Like you can tell that
Absolutely.
they're powwowing, right? They're getting together and talking about these books, and it's showing, and that connection is appreciated.
Yes, indeed.
So to get back into the book here, Pamela's investigating this marshland. She's trying to figure out why this town is like damn near haunted. Basically, it's so hard to say it any other way. Like it's truly like something that is like just taken over the city there, or I'm sorry, this town. There's no rhyme or reason to it, and they can see like through the government's just trying to like continue to like basically push aside nature, right? They're trying to make sure that the water stops going into this town, that that it is habitable. habitable from the people that are there, right? They want to control all of these things, and you can see that you can't control nature. It keeps coming back in, and it's low income housing. So what happens to the people that eventually are able to live there? Well, everything starts going sideways. They start being poisoned, they start dying, the land starts taking over, and it doesn't work out well for any of them because they can't find a way out themselves. So, it's either by lack of means or stubbornness. They stay there and they eventually die, with the exception of one man here who we see at the end. He's basically been immune to all of the things that have happened within this town. But as we are then presented him at the end within the graveyard, it's this ghastly, weird melding of like all of these different people who have now died and like come together as this one being. Kind of awesome. And now we see a cliffhanger with like this truly villainous character. It's feeling comic booky for the first time in, gosh, I think since I've started actually reading it. Now it's going to be Pam versus this monstrosity, and I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's dope. Like this, this guy was the one who buried all the townspeople and had that awful task and that awful burden. And yeah, I can't wait to see more of the history of this guy and what he went through and in this fight with Pam. It's going to be interesting because he's already kind of shown that he, like you said, he has immunity to some of these effects. And this place is at a nexus where the green and the gray and all these things come together. So obviously he's going to be a powerful foe, man. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I'm definitely excited to see,
because Pam just had to go nuclear not too long ago in the last arc to kind of wrap up the Lamia thing. Not completely, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And overall, just to speak to the fill-in artists, it's cool that they gave them this responsibility of introducing this new villain.
Because this felt like a big issue.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a big reveal, and they knocked it out of the park. So
yeah. So Brian Level, great job on this one, man. It's I'm excited to see more work from you. So keep putting it out, man. All right, let's dive into our second DC book of the week here with Two-Face #4, written by Christian Ward with artwork by Fabio Veras. I never thought that I would be saying this, but I think that like this is arguably like one of my favorite like mini series of the year so far. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm having a ton of fun with Two-Face right now. And it's like, I think I told you this here before, and if not, I apologize, but like it feels like Harvey Dent if you dropped him into like a Fight Club type, narrative. If he's struggling with these multiple personalities, which isn't like a grandiose thing for Two-Face. We know that he's always had that struggle, but for the first time, it feels as if it's not just a matter of us following this character along with the things that are going on, the crimes that he's committing. It feels as if things are happening behind the scenes that maybe he doesn't know about, and things are happening behind the scenes of Two-Face that, Harvey doesn't know. Like there's that feeling where it is two separate characters as opposed to one person in control of a body. And I'm really loving that. We get a lot of backstory in this, like a ton of backstory for the origin, if you will, of not Harvey Dent, but like the Two-Face persona. I can't say that I've seen anything that really delivered us any kind of narrative like this besides, the time when the horrific accident happened where he was, in court and splashed with acid and then became Two-Face. But everyone, like, that's always kind of been the perceived notion, like that's where it happened, that drove the man insane. What were your thoughts on like the storyline that they delivered and how they really drew that origin out and made it a little bit different?
It was all right. It's all right. I don't
just all right. Okay. All right.
I feel it was a little, I mean, I don't know, man. The I guess the abusive dad angle is interesting, but for him to be like beating on the boy and then, forcing him to make a decision, he can't make a decision. So he forces him to flip the coin. It just felt like a little forced. And I don't know. I like the idea. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it worked for me in the same way it worked for you. But I like the idea of like, these two personalities kind of facing each other in a courtroom type setting. I felt like this was kind of like a missed opportunity. I don't know. It was okay, and obviously Ward's artwork is incredible, but I really liked the issue before better than this one. This one, I don't know. I just felt like we could have gone. I don't know how many issues this is going to be total, but it just felt like there could have been a better way way to convey the whole coin coming into his existence, and how good Harvey invented bad Harvey.
Well,
6
we're gonna
issues,
find
says
out.
Rogue.
Okay,
Rogue
dang,
says 6. Thank you,
one step
Rogue.
ahead of me. Yep, thank you, man. We appreciate that. I knew it was real short.
Yeah, real quick, I'll just get to these. Poison Ivy, yeah, dude, you should. It's a great book. Mike said Fantastic 429. I gotta get back onto FF. I was liking that Ryan North.
Yeah, I dropped it very early on, man.
Oh yeah, Hyde Street. Yep, we got that coming up, brother. Hell yeah, Teen Titans Go. Awesome. Sister Imperator. I haven't heard that one. You heard of that one, E?
No, I've never heard of that one, man.
Sounds
So
cool. Yeah, Cliff in the building. Cliff, what up, brother?
Cliff.
Poison Ivy
Nice
is
seeing you,
always
man.
Yeah, man, it is. Absolutely. Gotta make sure you subbed up to Cliff, dude. Another incredible channel out here in the community.
Yep, totally.
Good seeing you, bro. Rogue dropped Two-Face. See, Rogue knows what time it is.
Oh, okay. All right, y'all nunchuck fans out here, man.
I'm just kidding, bro. But yeah, I love Ward's color palette, though. I know it's kind of
this
like
isn't
the same all over the place.
Christian Ward is the writer. He didn't do any of the artwork on this. This is Fabio Veras.
It's totally his color palette, though.
It is, though. It totally is. Yeah, I can't disagree with you there.
I love these colors. I first saw him in Aquaman Andromeda. I think I fell in love with him there. I think even though he uses them all the time, even though, like you said, he's not the artist, he does a great job. Like, it was the introduction. What was that Batman, the Madness story he did before this one, when he had
the dark underworld of Gotham, right? With like that,
he had Two-Face in that, and he had this color palette for him in that one. So
it works so well.
It does, and artwork's been killer. So yeah. Man.
All right. Well, so we go through the storyline here, and as Stu was alluding to, like the persona of Two-Face really had evolved throughout his childhood. The pain, the trauma of an abusive father, a neglectful mother, their eventual divorce. And like, this is just a mechanism of him dealing with the pain over and over and over. And he didn't put a name to it. It was always just something that was predominantly there. It was, again, like it was his coping mechanism. And it wasn't until the courtroom accident happened where he gets the acid splashed on his face that basically the wall broke down and that persona was able to take over and fully manifest in the way that we know Two-Face to be in the greater Batman mythos. Man, it's going to be one of those agree to disagree things, man, and I totally appreciate your take on it for sure. I thought that this was masterfully done, man. I thought it was great. I loved the artistic approach on it. I thought that's how they were playing with the courtroom and having basically both of them deliberate their case and try to say basically why they should have control over this body and why Two-Face really should maybe be there. He's been there since even before the accident that we were talking about. He's always been a part of Harvey's life. Why should he not be part of his life right here and right now? That he means so much more to Harvey. I really liked the narrative that was delivered here, but you're right. Like, if I was to sell this book, it would be the artwork and specifically the color palette first. That's what like catches your eye and really makes it pop in a beautiful way.
Yeah, I just like the ending, like what they I don't know. They had this great conversation, but then like what? He just decides that it's over. So now he's trapped again, and now he's going to get out. Like he's got another plan to get out. Like I thought he had already got out and put him in this. I thought that's what we were doing. It just seems like, and now we're going.
Well, no. So the way that I took it is not so much that Two-Face got out. It was more so that Harvey had regressed in. So now they're both basically it's because it's all taking place in the psyche of this dude. Like, I mean, if we were looking at this issue in real time in the real world, it would just be like Harvey chilling in a chair, just like contemplating, and that would be super boring. So this is all taking place in the landscape of his mind. So I took it as Harvey regressing back into the place that Two-Face is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm clearly totally selling you on this book.
No, dude, I don't know. It's we'll see. I'm still gonna give it a shot when the next issue comes around. It's just it started out as a nice surprise. I don't know if it's staying that way, but we'll see.
All right, we'll see. I'm still totally on board for this book. We got 2 issues left here for them to put a bow on it. I think I do agree with you, though. I think the ending is going to be a real telltale sign as to how we look back at this series and really how we think about it moving forward.
Absolutely.
All right. So that does it for the DC books of the week here. We're going to jump on over to our indies here, starting with Monkey Meats. Now, I didn't want to do this to you, man, but you crapped all over Two-Face here. I'm going to let you go ahead and try your best to talk about Monkey Meat. Let's see what you can do here, buddy. This is a tough one.
So the first story is a silent tale of sacrifice, a demon genie in a bottle, and a man's efforts to deal with it, I guess we'll say. Is that I guess a good general way to put it? Incredible artwork by Junie Ba. The second story to me is really the anchor of the book, and you know, if we're talking about selling points, that's what I would point people to. Like you said in your review of the book as well, bro, on the pull list, I thought, you know, it was great that you said that you really enjoyed it coming off of the heels of his Boy Wonder book, and I completely agree, because it's a nice little epilogue and indictment of the industry at the same time.
Big time, yes.
So yeah, I just the story is a little hard to follow. I did have to go back and reread a couple sequences / pages a couple times. The first one, the silent story, but the artwork is just so freaking fun, man. It's such a joy. You know what I mean? It's such a joy to see and take in. It's just something different, and it's totally unique, and it's masterful. He's a fantastic artist. Yeah, and I love like the way he communicates, and the things he uses for language here, like the chickens. The guy went to have the sacrifice, but he was 2 chickens short, and like the way that, you know, they tell us, you know, Junie tells us that what the little bubble was incredible.
Yeah, exactly. And even at the very end here, like the angry like champion who was able to best the god and like put everything back to normal. And then you see the sign in the background basically like explaining the fact that this will all happen again. And just like, you know, you get the word balloon with the middle finger, like, you know, F this.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. That was so funny. Like the first time he got killed, like you see the little soul escaping with the little wisp, and then, you know, middle finger coming up. It's fantastic. I love the energy. He's got such a punk energy to his stuff, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got a great restlessness to it that I really appreciate. But yeah, I don't know if you oh yeah, here we go, man. So the second story, which tells us the tale of what is it, Monk Eagle and Monkey Girl, two heroes created by the Monkey Meat Corporation, and that basically became sentient, right? And absorbed all the memories of all the variations of their character all at once, and were basically driven insane. And it's kind of like their story of luring up and going after the corporation, and it's fantastic, man. I just adored this story. It's viscerally written at some points, you know. It's really kind of scathing.
They point the finger right at us as readers, like, well, so it starts off as talking about the creators, like, how dare you put us as your own creations, you put us through the trials and tribulations. You had a madman beat me to death basically with a crowbar. Like, I mean, it's very clearly supposed to be the homage to the Jason Todd death right there. And I love that. It's just like pointing the fingers right back at the creators, like looking to them as God. Like, why would a God do this to his
They
own
voted
creation?
for it. Yeah, exactly. It made me laugh because I definitely like the Jason Todd hotline moment is a fun memory from my childhood. But yeah, I love Monk Eagle and like when he's testifying, Monkey Girl and I remember the sounds of our mothers screaming as they died, thousands of versions of it now, and the pain that drove us to become a symbol and help the world in an endless fight. Um, and I just when he finally comes to the realization of what they are, we're just the aesthetics for a dying empire, an infinite loop of sanitized reenactments of its own glory. It was just so well written, and
Yikes.
I just I love the courtroom scene. But Junie's one of those who's just a brilliant writer as well, man, and really
Oh
just
yeah.
has a verve and an energy to his stories that's all his own, and refuses to be quiet. I just love it. I love he always has something to say, and in kind of like a bigger type of way, with whether it's monkey meat or whatever he's doing. And I always appreciate an artist like that. So he's one of my favorites doing it when it comes to the upper echelon in this game, which is the guys who do the writing and all the artistry, and do it at a level that is always top. So this
Yeah.
was a brilliant. Yeah, what did you think of the second half of the story, Ro? Any
It was
moments
the
that you wanted to
standout.
point out?
Like, I mean, yeah, it was the thing that made me want to talk about the issue first and foremost, right? Because the first part was like a lot of fun, and I love the artwork. I love Junipa's approach on it. You said it so great, man. It's totally punk rock. Um, I love the ending of this issue, right? Because like the progression, or I'm sorry, the end of the second part of the issue, the progression of it is so great as like he delivers the story in a great way where you're in the shoes and in the minds of these characters as they explain the fact that they've been pulled out and this multiverse of memories come flooding in as they become a real person. And then it points the finger back at the creators, like we've been talking about, where it's going like, how dare you do this to us? And then at the very end, the realization happens and it points the finger right back at the reader and basically says, well, wait a minute. What about the part that you played in this? Right.
Yeah,
You mentioned the hotline, and like that's a great example. But like just as a reader, as a person who purchases these books, we have a right and responsibility to these characters that have been created. And I love the fact that he doesn't let us off the hook for that either. Right. Like we are an active participant in this whole journey of all these characters that go through all of these incredibly harrowing actions. So it's great that he was able to do that, because it was almost like the moment in the last Ice Cream Man where there was the one-page story that tells you, look behind you, look to your left, look, you're like, he's manipulating you and he's making you feel things that you wouldn't be doing these things if that book didn't tell you to do so. And now this book is making you think things that you wouldn't necessarily think by pointing the finger and like kind of like turning the mirror on yourself. So it's Junipa, dude. He's just killing
it
it, man.
was. It was, and it definitely gets under your skin in the good way. I think like all great
Yeah.
art does with that. When he's like, what did I turn on the news and I see our stories were never meant to inspire any actual change. We're just slopped to fuel the most unhinged place ever. Like, and
Oh,
we always love to say that about our comic books, and it inspires the hero in us, and to do the right thing. But it's like, when push comes to shove, how many of us are actually standing on business like that? So I just, I love I think the best art makes you uncomfortable, and this is
big time.
a prime example of that. So hell yeah, shout out to Junie, man, killing it,
Yeah.
killing it. And
This
y'all
was by
check out that Boy Wonder series if you haven't. Sorry to
Oh
interrupt
yeah,
you.
Boy Wonder was fantastic. Yeah, I'm very curious. This was by far the most interesting book that I read of last week here, man. If you guys read it in the chat, I'm very curious, man. I want as many opinions as possible. Let us know what you thought about this, because I'm just so I'm just so curious, man. Like this is going to be something that's really thought provoking. So yeah, so let us know. All right, moving on to the next issue here, though.
So our
As we
last one of the
alluded
night.
to,
Oh no, we got two more. Sorry.
I think we got one more after this here. So
Yep.
we're going to talk about Hyde Street #4, written by Jeff Johns with artwork by Yvonne Reese. this is a great continuation of the story as we've gotten to spend time with the X-Ray Man, we've gotten to spend time with the Boy Scout, and in the last issue, we ended on one of the souls that were about to be taken and captured. But somebody kind of swoops in at the very end and stops it, this monstrosity of a character. And we get the backstory now of this character and all of the things that came to be that got him onto Hyde Street and got him to be one of these soul seekers. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's like a
Yeah.
real like solid name for them, but the people that are, going about and tracking down these terrible people on Hyde Street. So it's kind of awesome. We get this old school 30s-esque kind of like movie setting where this person is trying his best to get out there to be, something like a real legit actor, even though he's huge, he's like, hulking, he has a really athletic build, so he's kind of getting typecast and things. And he feels like this role isn't going to fit him necessarily, and he's kind of reluctantly taking it, even though he just wants to progress his acting career. And throughout this, there's acts of jealousy, there's acts of like, he's getting into his own head, and he starts finding out that his agent is working with another person as well that has maybe a similar build to him, maybe he's a little bit more handsome too, maybe a little bit of this and that. So he takes some actions while in the costume, while as Frankenstein here, that in turn ends up accidentally, but still murdering this man here, who we find out was only supposed to ever be his stand-in. So let's take a pause right there. What did you think of the introduction and like the origin story of this character? Because we only got a glimpse of him in the beginning of I'm sorry, at the end of the last issue, and we saw a pretty grotesque version of what we were going to be delivered.
Yeah, I loved it. I think I love these universal, the universal monsters, and all the callbacks they had to Vincent Price and Lon Chaney and all that in the early part of the story when when he was arguing with his agent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, man. Yeah, but I thought it was great. When they get into these issues, the way they kind of start them, they feel like episodes of the Twilight Zone. And
Dude, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I love these you know, I, I love these characters. The way they introduce them, I think, is really well done. All of them so far have been really impressive. And this one this was like the most violent and craziest, I guess, issue yet of Hyde Street. I think they really leaned into the horror of this one, but it was a fantastic start. I love to see this character and how his insecurity kind of, he mirrored the monster in so many ways. So
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I really like the origin of the character, and I really like the way that it all plays out. I gotta say though, like I feel like I have a big critique of this book because, and it's hard to describe, man, because it's a well-written book. I like what's being delivered as far as the story pacing. Like everything it feels good. The artwork looks fantastic, but something feels off to me, man. And I think it's the fact that when I think of horror movies, especially nowadays, I feel like it's like the landscape where people take the biggest, boldest swings and they're not afraid to like try new things, get really experimental. And that doesn't necessarily mean being overly violent or like overly like grotesque or anything like that, right? There's like, I don't know. I feel like Jeff Johns is not taking a big swing with this. I feel like it's playing it
no, I
very
get,
safe.
yeah, and it doesn't feel like I said, this was the bloodiest one yet, but it feels like it's afraid to be a horror book at times.
Yes,
If that
exactly.
makes
And I
sense,
think,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
and Yvonne Reese's again, the artwork, like I am not critiquing the artwork. It looks
No, our work
fantastic,
is awesome.
but it feels like it doesn't fit the book itself. Like it feels like this should be a completely different book. I want them, if you're gonna have a horror book in this greater Ghost Machine universe that you've developed, and I've had so much fun with all these books, dude, I want you to take the big bold swings that you're taking in all those other books. You have this really great history book with Redcoat that they're doing so many fun things with, playing with those ideas of the historical events and characters. They got, Geiger, which has been like, it's their flagship title. And I feel like it fits that flagship title, like, whatever stature. This
Yeah.
should be the horror book, man. And but it doesn't feel horror enough for me. There's nothing scary in any of these things. They play up a couple grotesque moments and they maybe work with a couple different ideas. But man, like I'm ready. I just want him to like be unchained and Jeff Johns to really tell something that's gonna scare the crap out of us. And we haven't been delivered that as of yet.
No, it feels Disneyfied in like the way it's kind of gone about its violence and its horror elements. But this, like I said, this one was kind of a change of pace with that. So maybe we'll see something different. But it's just like, and I don't know if does the whole like delivering of souls, does that really? It doesn't just. I don't. It's not a scary thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's bad things happening to bad people. So there feels like there's no consequence. Like you're almost pleased for these things to happen.
Exactly. And it's like they try, I guess he tried, there's narration in this issue where I think that, we have the first moment where he's on Hyde Street and he's transformed and he's supposed to take that little girl. And they're talking like, it could be they killed their pet or, stole candy or something. Sometimes it doesn't take much at all. So it's like, okay, you know what I mean? It's just like, it just doesn't. I don't know, man. I don't know if it really just works the way it wants to, I guess. But we'll see where it's all going. But the Scoreboard of Souls thing is, I just don't know if that element is strong enough for me storytelling wise. But we'll see.
I mean, granted, we're only a handful of issues in, but I feel like it's like we've been delivered the premise at this point. Like we get it. We have a solid foundation. I need the series to really evolve and grow and give me something that's going to be new and exciting, and not just for the characters, but man, you got to like expand the world and make me appreciate this for the horror title that it's supposed to be. Because if I'm just looking at it as another comic book, it's fun and it's good, but man, we got like a pull list that just keeps growing, right? So like as that keeps going, cuts can get made, and I don't want this to be a cut, but it's one of them that could get dangerously close just by way of the fact that it's not being everything that it could be.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen, ideally for this, just personally, it'd be like introducing the big bad of the unnamed universe or something like that, or kind of coming out of this and crossing over into that world or something like that. But I'm kind of in the same boat for you, where I'm curious to see how this is going to connect to the bigger picture. DC says, I think it's a slow build, fair observations, but I like that this is less horror and more odd. Oh yeah, bro. I definitely see where you're coming from. I mean,
and that's the thing. It's hard to say it's a critique, right? Because like there's so many things that I do like about the book, and like I feel like it's a well put out book. Again, I just want them to take bigger swings. I want there to be some really big, bold ideas that I know Jeff Johns can deliver on.
Absolutely, same.
Yeah.
But the artwork in this one was killer. I mean, it's been killer in every one, but this one especially, I thought.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things here. Like, I mean, again, like we talk about the grotesque moments. It does lean into some acts of horror, like the nails being put through his eyes and things like that. And that's kind of what now we understand the character that we were delivered at the very end of the last issue now as well. So, the one thing I will say, because I feel like I've been crapping on the book here, and I don't mean to, but this does feel like the catalyst for something big and bold. Like we've gotten our other characters, we see them taking the souls. Now we have this, hero, if you will, right, stopping these things from happening, maybe looking for some kind of, I don't know, some way to reconcile all of the bad things that these people are doing. So maybe this is like really the jumping off point to get us where I hope it ends up going. Time will tell on that. Yeah, we got Edson. Oh, you got one here.
Bad.
All right.
He says it's not. Oh, it's not part. Oh, okay.
I think this is it's kind of like we have the unnamed universe, then we have Hyde Street, and then the offshoot was like the one where
the Devour.
Devour, yes, thank you. And then we
Yeah,
got Halo and Hornsby, and then the Rockefellers, that universe.
Rockefellers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's kind of the
yeah, that's
happy-go-lucky.
right.
Yeah, the family versions of these books here. What I was gonna say is Edson joined us here late, but
What
station,
up, bro?
you're always right on time, man. Never late. Never late.
Good to see you, bro.
Dude, look at this. We just need to get DC on the freaking show, man, and we'll do
I
a
know.
Ghost Machine special. Like, this dude knows his stuff.
Hell yeah.
We already knew that, though, of course. Like,
DC,
you know
DC.
your
What's your
stuff.
favorite? What's your favorite Ghost Machine book, bro? What's your favorite Ghost Machine book, E?
Dude, I've been ride or die with Redcoat. I've loved that since the very
Oh, that's
get-go.
right. Yeah, you do love that one.
Yeah, it's just been my favorite. Geiger is super good. It just, Redcoat hit me in a way that none of the other ones really did.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, how about you, though?
it's between Geiger and Rook, I think, for me.
I want to see where things pick up from with Rook, because we have a small sample size with it, but it left us on a really cool place. So I'm curious to see where the character of Rook goes from here, because he kind of went through that hero's journey within the first arc, and now things are going to heat up.
Yeah, dude. Can't wait to see. Fabric, incredible artwork, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, Lord knows he's going to have time to get those issues done, man. I think it doesn't come back until maybe summer, fall this year. So
that's good, though. Give him time.
Yeah,
like I
exactly.
appreciated. They had a good, consistent schedule with the books they had that first time. It's okay. We'll wait. I'd rather wait and have the consistency.
Totally agree, dude. All right, let's dive into our last book of the night here, which is going to be The Tin Can Society #6, written by Peter Warren, with assists by Rick Remender. I'm not sure how much he's actually involved, if it's a name or if he's really helping out here, but artwork by Francesco Mobili. Dude, this issue was crazy. Dang, you got grotesque right out the top here, man. There ain't no surprises with this slide. Oh man,
no, bro, all spoilers.
All spoilers. This was
there was you thought you had this book kind of all wrapped up, and you thought you knew all the twists and turns. This one kept swerving on you, man. It was incredible.
That's the wild thing. Every issue you could say that, man. Every issue lands on a cliffhanger where you're like, aha, that's the person. They did it. This is how things. Wait, what? What do you mean it's not? Like,
absolutely.
It zigs where you want it to zag. It zags where you want it to zig, but it always subverts your expectation in the best way. It's not taking advantage of you as the reader. It's delivering something you didn't know you wanted and making it even better than like your best expectation. And that's what good books should do. That's what good media should do.
Agreed, totally. And it's been such a fun ride getting to know this group of friends just from the get-go, just like thinking back on the early issues and them as kids, and just to see their, all the splits and cracks that happen in friendships over time, especially when you have success and money and things like that involved. But yeah, I love this book, man, so much. It's been, every issue has been fantastic. Mobili's artwork has been amazing. I love the character design they have for this Iron Man type suit. And
Yeah,
just
what do
the
they
way
call it? Is it Cogburn?
That's, damn it. That's a good question.
Okay, I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and the close-ups. I love when he goes in close, and I don't know. You always feel like the emotion, and this one was no different.
Yeah. And what happens in this issue, again, like every issue is a revelation. This one is the biggest and boldest, as we knew that this suit was out there. We knew that this suit ended up killing this, the friend of this group and the person that was actually the creator of the suit, right? What we find out now as each issue has gone on, everyone kind of became a suspect, but we've seen now at the end of the previous issue, they open up the suit and there's a baby in there, right? With a little breathing tube. You have no idea what that means, what's going on. What we find out is that the DNA basically of our hero character, the one that's been brutally murdered, his DNA is needed to navigate this suit and to, be able to pilot it. But it's not just him, it's his DNA. So what we find out is basically a surrogate mother was manipulated into birthing this child, obviously, with his DNA being the second part of that batch that was going to be made, is put into an artificial coma and is basically just not piloting the suit, but almost like powering it, like enabling it to be powered by the company that he was one time in control of. Now, obviously, no more because he's dead. But
Yeah,
maybe
it's wild to think the little kid was in there beating his dad to death, really. Like that, you know what I mean? And I mean, speaking, that is wild as hell.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it still opens up the question. Because he's not the pilot of the suit. This kid isn't doing it. He's just the means in which is powering the suit, right? It's like the key to a car. The key isn't powering it. It's just turning on the ignition. That's what this kid is doing. So who the heck is actually controlling the suit?
I think the company is Beckett.
Well, yes, exactly. But the company
Yeah.
is a big thing.
Oh,
Who within
true.
that company is making those
Yeah,
decisions? Because
and
it was him originally.
right, and it's just wild how all this went down. Like old girl keeping the condom after he came over, like, and that's how they got his DNA. And then just
Dispose
the
of your
fact that
goods.
and just the fact that the sister of the guy who got killed like agreed to all this is just bananas. It's just a mind-blowing situation. You that's what we're saying with these twists and turns. At the end of the last issue they uncovered it. Oh, it's a baby in the suit. Well, what does that mean? This is what it means, and that's how the baby got here. Like it's the most jaw-dropping reveal, man. It's crazy. Like, and it only ramps up from here.
Yeah, like it gives you those cliffhangers, but it takes the time to explain the cliffhangers. It tells you the why, and it does so like in the best way possible. I have not been unsatisfied by any revelation that we've been delivered. Like each one has been jaw-dropping, and then when I read the next issue that explains what's going on, it's been like, oh, holy crap, I can't believe I didn't even think of that being a possibility. Like that's wild. Like you totally took it off in a totally different tangent. And this issue ends with yet another. Well, first of all, I want to call out this piece of artwork, man, because I'm glad that you stuck that on the slides, dude. That was the standout like
incredible
of the issue, man. The
Absolutely.
whole action set piece, all of the friend group, like
it was the baby flying around, everybody's trying to catch the baby.
Yes, exactly. It's like a hot potato kind of game.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, every issue ends with a cliffhanger, and this does the best one yet. As the dude who has been killed, the murder mystery that we've been trying to solve this entire time, pops off his mask, and it's him. And what the heck does that mean? Like, I mean, like I've gotten to the point now where it's like I almost don't want to do the guessing game because I know I'm never going to be right, and they're going to have such a better answer than I ever have.
That's big facts. I don't even know where to go with it. Like how, first of all, and yeah, because here's my question. Did he just show up out of nowhere, or was that the suit that was? I don't know. I'm just I have so many questions.
Yeah, no, the baby was in the other suit. This is different. This is like suit B coming in and him being like, oh, by the way, hi.
Yeah, and he incapacitated all the bad guys who had just stormed the spot. And yeah, man, incredible stuff. Yeah. And it's like, how? Because like we saw, in the previous slide, dude was like literally beaten and broken, bloodied.
Oh God, you love going back to that slide. Get out of here. Oh, it's gross. I know I was talking about the fact that I want Hyde Street to be more horror, but Jesus.
You're such a softie. Oh, you're adorable.
I know.
Those little legs snap like twigs, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, this book is done like it's beautiful in the way it sells its violence, It's gorgeous. I don't know. I love the fights. Like you said, the fight scenes and the action sequences have been incredible throughout this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Peter Warren, for those who don't know, I didn't know until reading this series. He's been like a script writer, right? He's done a lot of Hollywood jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm not big on the spec game for comics or anything, but I gotta say, if you're gonna option something, dude, this would make an absolutely killer like Netflix
Oh my
miniseries or
God.
something like that, man. Like this would
Absolutely.
be so awesome. This is made to be appreciated as a comic, but then also the episodic nature of it also would play out so well as like a just a quick little mini series that you would get on like a Netflix or something. So, Hollywood,
Yeah,
maybe consider it.
it's like Stand By Me or like Breakfast Club meets Iron Man. Like you can't go wrong.
Yeah, totally, exactly. It's got that, it's got those heartfelt moments. The character development is great in this book, but man, it's got the superheroic moments, but it's also got that darkness behind it too, man. Because like again, like you have a comatose baby piloting a suit, like that's not normal. It's not
Yeah,
it's not
dude, I
lighthearted.
felt like part of me. You talk about getting the willies. Part of me like shuddered when you see them
The
like
wires
going into its spine. Yeah, God, I was like, man, that grossed me out more than pretty much anything else in the issue. I was like, God, that poor kid.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see where they take it from here. We only have, I
Incredible book
believe,
though. Y'all go check out Tin Can Society.
yeah, this is issue number 6 out of 8, or is it 9? No, I'm sorry, it's 9. So yeah, we only got a handful of issues left here. So man, we're coming up to the end game here, and obviously knowing that our murder mystery has maybe kind of been solved, they got some cool heavy lifting to do. So time will tell where they take it from here.
Absolutely.
All right. With that being said, here that does it for our books of the week. But we also have some other fun stuff for you guys here with our covers. I got to be honest, man. It was slim pickings for me. I'm glad I got a little sneak peek at what you had for us. But again, limited series of the year, Two-Face, I think.
Oh my God. Come on now, brother. Let's not
I know. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But man, I do love this cover, man. This was awesome. The color palette slaps, just like we talked about within the actual pages of the book here. I thought this deserved a little bit of love here. And I only had 2 picks this week here. I saw Magnola and like easy pick, like totally easy pick.
So
if I see that
good.
dude's artwork, boom, there it is. I'm gonna show it to you. So Herculoids here. I didn't read the book, but I gotta say the art, this particular cover, that jumps out, man.
That's killer. That's so good.
Yeah.
All
So
hail
those
the
are my
king.
picks, man. What do you got? What other magic are you going to show us here? What did I miss?
You missed Stephen Platt on Wolverine. You jabroni.
I saw it, and I was like, do I put this one?
Okay.
Do I double dip on
Yeah, you
Stephen
put
Platt 2
it.
weeks in a row?
Yes, you do. The answer is yes. Come on, you're a '90s kid like me. What are you doing?
I know.
Yeah,
That's a
dude.
sick
I
cover.
am the return of Stephen Platt is something I am here for. I did not know he was coming back guns blazing, but freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's got that what is it? Wolverine 88, Deadpool, and it's got that same energy. I love it.
Yeah, big time.
The Adam Cooper. Phil Noto's doing these I forget what they're called. Jailbreak or some type of manhunt variants. That's what they're called.
Oh, okay.
I just love it. I just love his line work in this. I thought it was exquisite.
And you're a huge
beautiful.
fan of Maggot too, right? Like that's like your number 1 X-Man of all time, right?
Is that who that is? Yeah.
Is that who that is?
Absolutely. Phil's killing it though. Always. What a legend. Jay Lee doing Space Ghost. I just love this one.
His covers have been my absolute favorite for Space Ghost so far.
Yeah,
like
these have been great. And Space Ghost still has like a trillion variants, and we're on what, issue 10? Yeah, they're going hard.
Yeah, great issue too.
Yeah. What we got next up, man? Alex Ross doing this Fantastic Four facsimile reprint. No, it's not.
Cheating.
That's
it's
not
totally
no,
cheating.
Okay, Mr. 2 covers with look at this one, a Two-Face fighting his bad side. Get out of here.
You're checking too many boxes here, man. Like homage cover, check. Alex Ross cover, check. First family, check.
Stephen Platt, check. Also, come on, man. It's Panosian time. It's Panosian time.
I know. I saw this one too. Honestly, I didn't include this because I feel so guilty. I want to be reading Birds of Prey and I haven't picked up. And it's like, dude, it's like 19 issues in. Can I feasibly play catch up at this point? But it's Kelly freaking Thompson. I don't know why I'm not reading this book.
Yeah, I don't. Who's on art these days? Is it Leader? Is Romero still on it? Because I'm here for that team up all day. But regardless, yeah, I feel the same way, man. I was like kind of in and out with the first arc, and then I just fell off, and then we got back in. But yeah, shout out to Dan the man, killing it.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, that'll do it for my covers of the week, brother. Oh, Omega
Right.
says he's been collecting the Christian Ward variants for.
See,
Oh yeah, those have
I
been
know.
gorgeous. Well, is that
And,
a Christian Ward variant that you put up there, or was that something else?
no, that was cover A, but still an
Oh,
appreciator
okay.
of
Oh,
Two-Face.
no,
And I
I mean,
appreciate Omega.
kind of. I guess it counts.
Kind of. All right. We're going to agree to disagree on this one, man.
Christian Ward rules. Yeah, definitely. Definitely one of the best.
All right, man. Well, we have the comics that actually came out today here. This week looks stacked, man. I am so stoked for this one. Dude, I think the standout probably for both of us is going to be Assorted Crisis Events, right? Like we just talked a big game for Dennis Camp, him coming out with.
Yeah, we're talking about that book next week. I can tell you that already.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited here. I got my copy right here to show off, dude. I haven't had a chance. I usually dive into a couple books on a Wednesday. Today was not my day for that, but dude, like as soon as we're done with the show, that's the first thing that's getting cracked open. That's gonna be awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
What else is standing out for you?
Oh man, like a Batman Dark Patterns, of course. Geiger, Moon is Following Us, Transformers. Is that Transformers? Yeah, it's Transformers.
That is Transformers. Yeah.
Those are all definitely on my all on my radar. I would pull up League of Comic Geeks and look at some other titles, but I'm sure my computer will crash if I do that. Let me find my phone. I'm sure I'm missing something. How about you, bro? What are you looking forward to?
Dude, a lot of bangers. I mean, all of those are my top tier ones that piqued my excitement. The only other thing I would say is if you haven't and you still have an opportunity, if you're a fan of the pcparmybadbatch here, maybe consider picking up a copy of Santos Sisters here, the latest issue with number 8. And if you do, hit us up. Let us know what you thought and maybe what you saw in there, because there's a special little surprise. So, yeah, other than that, though, the ones you're seeing here on screen here, those are the bangers. Those are the ones that I'm the most excited for.
Absolutely. Yeah. Assorted Crisis Event's going to be such a good one. So can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Other than that here, we got other things coming down the pipeline. This ain't the only place that you're going to see us here, even though it's arguably one of the best places to see us. You can catch me every single now Sunday morning with On the Pull List here, my weekly comic book review show where I go over all my thoughts on not just the comics we talked about tonight, but a whole plethora more. So you can catch all my thoughts there. Me, Stu, and Nick got together for an epic breakdown of Daredevil Born Again here, where we go through page by page. We call out the best parts of this absolutely fantastic story. In my personal opinion, the best, most concise superhero story of all time here. Not even joking. This is the one for me. So we're in the process of editing that here. That should be coming down the pipeline here. Fingers crossed on Friday, if not very soon after that, though. So keep an eye open for that.
Oh, yeah.
Mark it on your calendars. Give yourself a nice chunk of time, because this sucker's hefty and it's definitely going to be worthwhile. Stu, that's all for me. Where can we find you next?
All right, let's see here. What we got? I just dropped this morning, Dr. Doom reading recommendations for the Silver Age, 1962 through 1970. Got his first appearance, the FF Annual #2. A couple of other great Doom stories on there. So check that out on my channel, Dr. Doom's Fan Club. Also got Surrounded by Short Boxes, where I'm breaking down my favorite back issues. Whole host of other great comic book content. So make sure you're subscribed to Dr. Doom's Fan Club on YouTube and catch me on Instagram as well, sharing my favorite comics from the collection. Let's see what else we got. I will be tomorrow night over there on Blood Splatter Chatter with Verno and Link talking Christian Bale just getting down like
he's on that Ozempic or whatever that medication is, man. That's too thin. Ugh.
Yeah, bro took it there for this one, right? The Machinist, the Machinist join us for our conversation in the middle of March Madness. Regardless, I'm gonna watch this one in the daytime tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to shore myself up. It's gonna be weird to watch this movie at like 10 o'clock in the morning, but that's probably what's gonna end up happening. But yeah, excited to get back with the fellas tomorrow night, and then of course Friday I will be over on One Collection Down, 9 p.m. Eastern with Fable for Blame, all new, all different Blame Fable and his amazing friends. So check me out there with the fellas talking the pop culture, the weekend pop culture headlines, news and notes, all that good stuff. I think that's
Awesome.
it for me, bro. Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, again, Stu, thank you for joining me. Everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. We, as always, appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Chad.
Yep. We will catch you next week. And until that time, have yourself a fantastic Wednesday.